Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namani Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Desha Jayo Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna. So last Sunday we covered about I think last Sunday was honoring prasadam, right? So we saw how we offer the prasadam and then how do we honor the prasadam, right? So any glimpses, anyone remembers anything and then would like to discuss? Because I know that a few of them have missed the class. And then as far as the playlist is concerned, yeah, that playlist, we'll share it today once again. Yeah, so there was some issue with our temple YouTube channels wherein it was hacked. That's the reason it was not available or distorted for some time, but now it's again restored. Yeah. So you'll be getting those details. Okay. And then I did post the Vaishnava Sadachar handbook also. So hope you all have gone through it, right? So that is the handbook from ISKCON Mayapur. Yeah. So that is what we are following in. Yeah. So and then if you have read through, the author is Atul Krishna Prabhu. Yeah. So you all can get his association on Sundays. Yeah. So he teaches us Chaitanya Bhagavat and Chaitanya Charitamrita. Yeah. So it's the same Prabhuji. Yeah. Okay. We actually covered last time about Prasad Seva, right? So any highlights you remember of that? We can discuss for a minute and then get into today's session. Yeah. So today's session is about Vaishnava dress. Yeah. Any Prabhujis or Matajis would like to discuss about Prasad Seva, so which we had discussed. Okay.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. So, see, guidelines for serving prasadam. So,
Yes.
when we serve prasadam, we should be very clean.
Yeah.
And when even if we get sneezing, we have to go out and do it.
Yes.
And we have to wash our legs.
Yeah.
So then we covered order in which the prasadam is served.
Yes.
Like sweet should be served at the end, and so guidelines for honoring prasadam. So
yeah.
we should do a pray.
Yes.
So before the honoring prasadam.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. So we discussed all these things. Yeah. And then we should give preference to the senior devotees, sannyasis. Yeah. And then if there are any old Prabhujis or Matajis, yeah, and then followed by childrens and then others. Yeah. So that's the hierarchy. Yeah. And then we did discuss about the mantras also, right? So what was the Bhoga mantra? So when we actually cook the prasad and then serve it to the Lord, and then when we honor also, there is a mantra which we actually have to recite, and then we'll have to take the prasadam. Okay. And then moving forward, right? So today's session is about Vaishnava dress. Okay. This is about the Vaishnava culture. In this, the Vaishnava dress is being stressed. But yes, in this also, right? So if you look in, right, initially in this, Prabhupada actually starts with saying that he gives some instructions wherein the devotees should not be actually using or say they must be getting involved in these ordinary literatures, right? Say like reading newspapers and then spending all the time in it, right? So we'll start with that, and then say we'll look at what are the different types of dresses which are approved, and then what kind of dresses each varnashram should wear in, yeah, and how to wear a tilak, yeah. So all these things will get covered in this in this section, yeah. So we'll go through the decks. So before I go into the decks, right? So we have seen different types of dresses, right? So anyone uh, has actually observed what kind of dresses do the Vaishnavas wear in ISKCON? Any color?
Prabhuji, cotton clothes, white cotton, saffron.
Yes. So white is something, right? And then saffron is something, right? Yeah. So at least you have observed those things. So we'll get into those details, who wears what. Yeah? So and the other aspect is we'll actually look into the tilak also. Say how to wear a tilak, and then say where do we put the tilak marks on the body. Yeah? So what is the importance of tilaks, and then why do we wear a kantimala, right? All these things should be discussed in today's class. Okay. So any Prabhuji or Mataji, if they can volunteer to read this, hope you are able to see my screen, right?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. You can read, Prabhuji.
A person desiring to advance in spiritual understanding should be extremely careful to avoid reading ordinary literature. The world is full of ordinary literature that creates unnecessary agitations in the mind. Such literature, including newspaper, drama, novel, magazine, is factually not meant for advancement in spiritual knowledge. Anyone advancing in spiritual knowledge must reject such literature. Srimad Bhagavatam 7.13.7 purport.
Yeah. So here, so the stress is being given that so the ordinary literature, right? So which is like the newspapers and all, right? So we should not get more into that. Okay. So like the whole day, if you see, right, there are so generally, right? So not only in India or abroad, everywhere, right? So newspaper is something wherein people actually sit from day and night, yeah. So reading those newspapers, and then they bring out a lot of topics out of this newspaper, yeah. So if they are free, right, the whole day they can spend with these gossips only, right? So here it is being told that we should not fully engaged or get drenched into it, yeah. So because we do need the worldly information, right? So it's not that devotees will not know what is happening in and around. Okay, so you should know the information of what is happening, right, in the worldly affairs, or say in your city, or in your the country, or whatever it is there, right? So you should have those glimpses, but not that we actually get into those topics in such a way that even when we are getting free time also, right, so we keep on gossiping about those things. Yeah, so those things is what has been mentioned. Yeah, the ordinary literature and all those things, so we should refrain. So we should refrain in the sense we should pick them and then accumulate, or say read whatever is required and then leave it and then move on. Yeah, it's not that the whole day we actually churn that. Yeah, that is what is being told. Yeah. Even this actually goes to our nectar of instruction verse 2, right? So even in the first class itself, we discussed this about atiyara prayasascha prajalpa niyamagraha janasangascha laulyam cha sadbir bhaktir vinashyate. So these are the 6 categories, right? So there are given 6 categories, so which we actually practice, right? So then we get entangled, and then these are the spoilers for our devotional service. Yeah, one is eating more than necessary. Yeah, so that is atiyara, right? And then over endeavoring also for mundane things. Yeah, so that is also not required, and talking unnecessarily about mundane subject. Yeah, so that is called prajalpa. Okay, so that is what is being discussed here. Yeah, so and if you look in also, there is not following the rules and regulations. Yeah, so that is niyamagra and janasanga, so association with worldly people. Yeah, so if we associate who are not interested in Krishna consciousness, right? So we should not interested, and then they are interested in the worldly affairs and all those things, right? So we should actually have, but we should have minimum relations, right? So, and then we should not get carried away with them, and then being greedy for mundane achievements. Yeah, so all those things which is actually discussed in nectar of instruction, this is nothing but an extension of that only. Okay. Yeah, Prabhu, you can continue this also, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji. But you'll find that these American boys who have come to Krishna consciousness, they have kicked out newspaper. No more newspaper because there is no Krishna Katha. They don't like to read it. This is the test. We do not know what is the happening daily. It is. It does not matter newspaper. It is a waste of time. Srila Prabhupada, Bombay, November 12, 1974.
Okay, so this is the same thing which is being mentioned here, right? So Prabhupada says that so the disciples who were there, right? So they are not, they have lost the interest in newspaper, right? Because they don't find Krishna Katha in it. Okay, so and then even Prabhupada, right? So every day he used to listen to the news. Okay, so one of his disciples would actually come and um, say give the headlines, yeah, of for what is the latest current affairs kind of thing, right? So he'll actually, Prabhupada used to have 5 or 10 minutes time for it. So wherein he'll discuss about the worldly affairs, right? So what is the current news and all, and then that's it. So that was his style. But we should also have our own ways wherein so we accumulate all the worldly affairs. What is happening, we can know, and then we can move on. Yeah. So that is something is being discussed. And then the next thing is sometimes the movies that are demonstrated in the plane, I close my eyes. I do not like to see them because that impression carries. It is a very disturbing fact to me. Srila Prabhupada Conversation, January 21, 1977, Bhubaneswar. Okay. So here, Prabhupada was traveling, right? So because when ISKCON picked up the movement, right? So, and then he had built 108 temples across the world, right? So he was actually going around the globe, right? So, and most of the time he used to spend his time in traveling. So from there, right, he says that so if there, and we know that every international plane has got a small screen, right? So behind your seat. So he says that he doesn't watch those things because those impressions carries, and it's very disturbing for him. So rather he would pick his bead bag and then she would chant. Yeah. Okay. Can some Prabhu or Mataji read this, please? Hare Krishna. Prasad Prabhu, Lakshmi Prasad Prabhu, can you read this?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Come on, dance with us. Is it not recreation? And when you get tired, uh, take prasadam. Do you want more recreation than this? What is your answer? Is it not recreation? You go to ball dance and so many other dances, you pay for it, but we don't charge. So if you simply come and chant for recreation, it is very nice. Everything is there in Krishna consciousness. We want music, there is music. We want dancing, there is dancing. You can bring nice musical instruments, you can join. We distribute nice palatable dishes. So practically this is a system of recreation only. Srila Prabhupada lecture, uh,
Bhagavad Gita 6.1.
Bhagavad Gita 6.1, Los Angeles, February 13th, 1969.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
So here, in this deck, right? So it is being covered about recreation. Okay. So usually, so the tendency, right? So the human tendency is to have some recreation, right? So we'd like to, because that is the way the tendency is, right? So we would like to dance. We used to like we would like to have some entertainment, yeah, some songs, yeah, and then and palatable food to eat, right? So that's what Prabhupada says, that ISKCON movement is all about that, right? So he says that we do kirtan. So if anyone is interested in singing, there is a chance for to sing, right? You sing good kirtans, you enjoy. If anyone wants to dance, you can dance on the kirtans. Yeah. So if anyone is good at playing the dramas, you can play skits, right? So it's all jolly. Okay, from morning onwards, you actually do kirtan or you dance, right? You have good prasadam, you have association. So you are actually engaged in a lively way, right? So it's not that only say you have been into an institution, so where you have been only taught about books, right? And then there is no service. The kind of you are only doing one thing, yeah. So in here, right, actually Prabhupada has designed the day itself in such a way that one will never get bored, because you will be transitioning from one thing to the other. Yeah. So that is being told. So recreation and also everything you'll find here. Yeah. So only thing is we should change our taste. Yeah. So these things automatically fall through. Yeah. So actually, when our temple soft opening was done, right? So at that time, we had Jivinath Prabhu who joined us. Okay. So Jivinath Prabhu is Prabhupada's disciple. Okay. So he was initiated by Prabhupada. Okay. And then say possibly he'll come for the temple opening also, so which is actually going to happen during the Balram Jayanti. Yeah. So he he is a crowd puller. Okay. So he does kirtans and all, say, in such a way that he actually engages this youngest or this youngest person in the crowd to the oldest. So he actually does kirtan and he does this crowd pulling activities in such a way that everyone, right? So everyone will be dancing, and then say he'll make you to forget that you are in this world. Okay, so he'll take you into some other world actually, and everyone would be sweating, and then no, he'll not keep anyone on their feet. Okay, say it could be an old woman or an old mother, anyone. So, so that is the way there are devotees who actually do a lot of recreation also. Yeah. So that's one of the example which I thought of, because that Prabhu has got so much of energy. So he's possibly in his 70s. Yeah. But the way he does it, right? the kirtans and how he pulls the crowd is amazing. The energy levels which he has in, right? So it's very difficult to find in the youth also. So even the youth who are in the age of 20s also cannot match his energy levels. So he has got very high energy levels, and the way he does the kirtans and how he pulls in is amazing actually. If you get a chance, you can search for this Jeevnath Prabhu. Yeah. And so now slowly this is all about dancing, music, and recreation. And then if you are hungry, then we have palatable dishes to eat in, right? So this is all is what been discussed. And then next we'll go to dressing. Okay. So why dressing is important, right? So in every institute you can look in, right? So like if even we are in the school or there is a police officer, could be a doctor, could be a lawyer. So every profession has their own way of dressing, right? So once you wear that dressing, right, you get a different feel. Okay. So it's not that without wearing the dresses, a policeman cannot actually uh, perform his duty, right? But there are a few cases where he has to actually wear a civil dress and then perform his activity. But most of the time, right, what happens is any institute you take, right, or the royal families are also there, right? So they all wear different types of wardrobes or they wear different types of uniforms, right? So wherein that actually one thing is when they go into the public, right, everyone knows, right? Everyone can understand where they belong to, right? And the other thing is those who are actually wearing it, they feel more obliged, right, to perform their activities. Yeah. So if you look in, right, this is a dress of a police, right? So police has to wear all these gears and all those things, right? So anyone who looks them, right, understands that is a police, right? And then once they wear this dress, right, say they become, say the dress or the dress makes them to think that they have to carry their activities as a police, right? So that actually enhances, right? Similarly, if you see the royal queens who were there, right? So they were also wearing a dress code. So and even so the community helpers or whatsoever they are, right, or the engineers, so they have their own dress codes, right? So because they need them to perform the activities, right? Similarly, this is aristocracy, right? So this is some journal or colonel who is actually wearing all this, and then yeah. So everyone has to have a proper attire, right? So depending upon the attire, right? So first thing is the public appearance, and the other thing is we actually get attached to it, yeah, and then we feel that we are on duty, yeah. So this is something about the doctors during COVID, school children's. This is during the marriage or during our puja ceremonies. We wear different type of clothes, yeah. And then this is when you're representing your nation, you have your own flags and everything, right? So this is the importance, right? So these things actually make a mental picture. So they give a mental picture, yeah. And then this is, if you see, so these are the dresses, okay. These are the saffron dresses worn by the Prabhujis, yeah. So this is, these are, I believe these are twin brothers, so who were in Mayapur, okay. I don't remember their names. So these were the pujaris who were Naistik brahmacharis, okay. One is Jananivas Prabhu, I think so. I don't recollect, sorry, the names, but both were twins. And then in Mayapur, right? So the Narsimhadev temple was built, and then they were serving Narsimhadev for 50 years. Because at that time, so there were the requirement for Naistik Brahmacharis, and then these two Prabhujis took care uh, of the worship of Lord Narsimhadev. So this is very important. Yeah? And then for us, right, as we discussed, right, there are different colors which everyone wears in ISKCON, right? So if you see the right Prabhujis who are grihasthas, right? So they wear white color dhoti, right? And then on top of it, a shirt, right? A kurta, right? So that is for grihasthas, okay? And then even Prabhujis who are devotees who are actually in the temple also, right? So who are in the temple, but they are temple devotees, but say they have still not decided whether they'll actually be a brahmachari, right? So in that case also they'll wear the white, right? So few of them would like to get into grihastha life, so they'll also wear white. Okay, so you might be seeing in temple, right? Temple devotees, few of them would be white. The reason is they would preferably go into the grihastha, right? Uh, Mostly, yeah. So that's the reason they wear white. And then few have not yet decided. So where to go, whether to pick brahmachari ashram or uh, the grihastha. And then whosoever has picked brahmachari, right, they'll actually wear the saffron. Okay. And even the sannyasis also wear saffron. Yeah. So anyone can tell how do we differentiate now between sannyasi and a brahmachari? Because both wear saffron, right? Hare Krishna.
Sannyasis carry 3 danda, no?
Hare Krishna. Yes, Mataji. So there will be a danda, right? So and they'll actually, even if you look in it, they'll wear a knot, the cloth, the upper part, right? So on the cloth would be worn differently. So they'll actually put a knot here. So even by seeing that also you'll understand. But if someone is not carrying the danda, right, it becomes very difficult to understand. So to actually recognize, yeah. Because if it is all saffron, right, you may get, it will not be so clear, but yeah. And even so the dhoti style
Even
also,
they wear down dhoti type. It is
yeah,
like
yeah,
lungi and not that dhoti which others
correct,
wear.
Mati. So even that dhoti, but yeah, you should actually observe very precisely those things, yeah. So they'll not wear the way we wear the dhoti, right? They'll not tuck in at the back, yeah. So those are the differences of wearing the dresses, yeah. So this is about Prabhujis, okay, and few wear yellow also because that is auspicious, okay. And about Matajis, right? So Matajis should wear saris preferably, yeah? And else the gopi dresses, right? So those are also allowed. And then if not, then the chudidar which they have in, right? So with dupatta, yeah. So that's just what the preferable dresses are in ISKCON, yeah. So whenever we go to the temple, right? Mostly we should prefer wearing those. And then whenever we are in dham, right? Whenever we are doing yatras, right? So we Prabhuji should wear dhotis, kurta or kurta pajama, yeah. And we should refrain wearing jeans and all those things, right? So no casuals there, okay. And similarly, Matajis I spoke, right? Saris, gopi dresses, or salwar kameezes, or this one, chudidars with dupattas, okay. So those are the preferred dresses which Prabhujis and Matajis should wear in, okay. And the whole idea is to cover our body, right? So that should be taken care of. Okay? Yeah. Hare Krishna. Any Prabhuji or Mataji, if they can read this.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Mataji, God Mataji. Hare Krishna.
The saffron robes and the seven head are not essential, although they create a good mental situation. Just as when a military man is dressed properly, he gets energy. He feels like a military man. Does that mean that unless he is in uniform, he cannot fight? No. In the same way, God consciousness cannot be checked. It can be revived in any circumstances, but certain conditions are helpful. Therefore, we prescribe that you live in a certain way, dress in a certain way, eat in a certain way, and so on. Srila Prabhupada Conversation, October 8, 1975, Durban.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you. So this is what we were discussing, right? So these are all essential. So it makes one feel, right? He gets more energy by wearing all these things. Even we can feel the difference when we are actually doing pujas at home and all those things, right? So if you're doing your daily puja also, right, it would be best if you can wear your attire, right? So if you can wear dhoti, right, so then you'll feel the difference, right? So rather than wearing some other dress and sitting, right, so it's always better if you can wear uh, dhoti, right? So that makes, so if you wear that, you'll feel automatically you'll get some devotional feeling, yeah. So that is good to practice. Okay. And then for us, right, say we all got or say the Gaudiya Sampradaya got all these dressings from Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Okay. So I think Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada's disappearance day was there. Oh, it was when I think in this week only we had it, right? Anyone remembers? It was I think Thursday, right?
29th
Yeah, it was Thursday, right, Prabhu?
Thursday, Prabhu.
Yeah, it was his appearance day. Sorry, not disappearance day. It was his appearance day. So he was the one who pointed us with all this dressing, okay? Because prior to that, right, it was all people were wearing white. So white was not appealing, okay? Because there were at that time, right? So because this is what in early 1990s, yeah. So at that time, so people were more spiritual, right? And then they were all wearing white, right? And then there was no distinguishing, right? People couldn't distinguish. And there were actually even at that time, right? So there were sahajiyas and all, right? So wherein they were also wearing white. And then people couldn't identify who is who. Okay. And then Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Prabhupada actually introduced these things, saying that uh, Grihastha should wear white, and then Brahmachari should wear the saffron one, yeah, and the sannyasis also, right? So that actually gave a quite distinction between who is who, and then so people could recognize, okay, so who is a brahmachari, and so it was easy, right, in the public also. So even when giving speeches and all, right, so that made a difference, and then so this tradition continued, yeah. And what to talk about Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, right? So he was a very good scholar. See, and there were numerous printing activity. He also pioneered the printing activity. Okay, so he was the one who had imported machines. The printing machines he had imported at his time. Okay, to actually print. He had so many daily newspapers which were printed in Bengal. Okay, he was a learned scholar in different languages. He wrote so many books. Yeah, and then he established 64 mathas. Okay, during that time, and then he was the one who pioneered the Yoga Pit, the birthplace of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, right? So I'm not sure if anyone has gone to Mayapur, then so there we can see. So that was Bhakti Siddhanta's, yeah, Bhakti Vinod Thakur. Actually, he had identified that spot, and then the work, right? So building of temple and all, Bhakti um, Saraswati Thakur had done that. Yeah. So there are numerous things. So I think even my knowledge would be very less to talk about him, because he was such a powerful Acharya. And then even technology, he had used it to the fullest at his time. So he used to preach people. So he used to have a car also at that time. Yeah. Because Bhakti Vinod Thakur was a magistrate, and Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur happens to be his son, right? So he used, because all these things he used for preaching. Yeah. So that is how, and then he was the one who pioneered the this one also, right? Say innovative way of actually sending the disciples to the west to preach. So he was the one who had actually sent also. He had tried sending his sannyasis to Europe, right, to preach, and then to actually spread Krishna consciousness, right? He did all those things. So, so with his instructions only, our spiritual master Srila Prabhupada actually was inspired, and then he went there, and then he actually preached in the West, and then we have ISKCON. Rest all follows. Yeah. Okay, I think that was something. Yeah. Mataji, can you continue this also? This is continuation only.
Yes, Prabhuji. The foolish rascals, they say that what is the necessity of this, that? No, this is necessity. You must always remain dressed like a Vaishnava. That is necessity. So, Prekshaniya is very beautiful to see. Otherwise, how they became impressed. Srila Prabhupada lecture, Srimad Bhagavatam 3.28.19, October 29, 1975, Nairobi. Hare Krishna.
So, Hare Krishna, thank you, Mataji. So, Srila Prabhupada says that this is necessary. Yeah, this is necessary. The Vaishnava dress is necessary, and then further he'll discuss uh, if at all in public, right? So, what Srila Prabhupada was stressing is, if there are any countries, right, so wherein you can't actually carry, say, few things, right? So you cannot carry your danda in the public, or there are few restrictions, right? So maybe you'll not be allowed to wear the sannyasi colored dress or whatever. There might be few countries there are restrictions, right? So what Prabhupada says is that if that country needs changing of a dress, right, you can change the dress, but the essence of preaching, right? So we should not miss that. So for preaching, if it is required that we'll have to at least temporarily for 1 or 2 days, right? We'll have to wear a suitable dress as per the law and of that particular country, right? So, or in that time, so you can do that. But our essence should be that we should preach Krishna consciousness. See, for Krishna consciousness, preaching the activities, it was allowed. Okay, so to pick those things. Yeah. Okay. So regarding dress, I have already written to you that you can dress as smartly as possible to deal with the public. Yeah. And dress is immaterial in Krishna consciousness. Consciousness is within. I am sannyasi, but if some important work requires I dress myself just like a smart gentleman, I would immediately accept it. So it is not a problem. Prabhupada letter to Gopal Krishna, Hamburg, 3rd September 1969. This is what he's saying. So spreading Krishna consciousness, yes, we can actually speak. Okay. And then anyone knows whose picture is this?
Bhakti Vinod Prabhu.
Yes, he is Bhakti Vinod Thakur. Yeah? We just spoke him. Yeah? He was a magistrate during the regime of the Britishers. Yeah. Yeah. Prabhu, you want to read this?
Yes, Prabhu. From the instructions given to King Prabhupada Prataprudra by Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, we can understand that we may change our dress in any way to facilitate our service. When our members change their dress to meet the public or to introduce our books, they are not breaking the devotional principles. The real principle is to spread the Krishna consciousness movement. And if one has to change into irregular Western dress for this purpose, there should be no objection. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela, 14.5.
This is what we, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. This is what we discussed, yeah. So about dress. Yeah. Okay, can someone else? Kirtan Prabhu? Would you like to read this? Hare Krishna. Or Praveen Prabhu? Do you
Hare
want
Krishna
to read?
Prabhu, shall I read it?
Okay, go ahead, Mataji.
In our Krishna consciousness movement, the tactic of dressing oneself like an ordinary karmi is necessary because everyone in the demoniac kingdom is against the Vaishnava teachings. Yet the preachers of Krishna consciousness must go forward in their Vaishnava dress or any other dress for the purpose of preaching. Chanakya Pandita says that if an honest person deals with a great cheater, it is necessary for him to become a cheater also, not for the purpose of cheating, but to make his preaching successful. Srimad Bhagavatam 7.5.7 purport.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
So even if you see, right, Chanakya Pandit also says the same thing, right? If an honest person has to deal with a cheater, it is necessary for him to become a cheater also. So not for the purpose of cheating, but to make his preaching successful. Okay, so like if we'll have to go to the karmis, right? So if we'll have to go into the public, and then as I said, right, if it requires wearing suit boot, we can wear it. Yeah. But Prabhupada mentioned that we should never leave the tilak bit. Okay. So tilak should be there, and then shikha should be there. So those who have taken who are full-time devotees, right? So for them the instructions were clear that tilak and shikha and the shaven head should be there, or say the hair should be short. Yeah, so we cannot have long hairs. Yeah, so that is what the instructions were being given. Yeah, so we cannot compromise on that. But yes, so in our workplace, right, and most of the places we are not allowed to wear tilak, right? So in that, so what is advised is we put the water tilak. Yeah, the water tilak is allowed. So wherein you mark the tilak with water and then go, that nobody knows it, right? So and the other thing is we wear the tilak also, right? So we are not missing from wearing the tilak also in that way. So in my opinion, clean shaved brahmacharis and grihasthas in saffron robes look like angels from Vaikuntha. So if you look all these Prabhujis, so this is all the dress, yeah, so this they have been wearing. So Prabhupada says that they all look like Vaikuntha. people from Vaikunta with tilaks, shikha, shaven heads, yeah, with saffron robes. So now we'll go into the important topic of tilak. Okay. So tilak, I have no objection in if members of the society dress like nice American gentlemen, but in all circumstances, a devotee cannot avoid tilak, flag on head and beads on neck. These are essential features of a Vaishnava. Srila Prabhupada, letter to Brahmananda, Calcutta, 14th October 1967. So these are what is mandatory. You know? So Prabhupada says that you can wear any type of dress for preaching, but these things we should not compromise on. Yeah. Okay. These are a few of the importance of tilak. Yeah. So why do we wear tilak, right? And then it does not matter where a person who wears tilak dies, even if he's a chandala, he goes to Maya about riding on a spaceship and because worship there. When a person wearing tilak eats in somebody's house, I deliver 20 generations of his host from hell. Yeah. This is from Brahmanda Purana, Pancharatra Pradeepa. Yeah. So this is one of the importance of tilak. Yeah. So why do people wear tilak? Right? So if it is being said that if you wear the tilak, right, so the Yamadutas also will not come and touch. Okay. Say while at the time of death, if you are having tilak, and then if you are leaving the bodies, right, it is being said that Yamadutas will not come and touch, rather the Vishnudutas will come and pick you. Okay, so that's the importance. And then if at all, if we actually host the Vaishnavas, right? So then it is being said that the 20 generations should be delivered. Yeah. And then this is the way where we wear the tilak, right? So anyone knows what these two lines signify? So these two lines are the lotus feet, okay, of the Lord. And then this is the tulsi leaf. Okay. So this is how we wear a tilak. Okay. Okay. Any Prabhuji can take this. Kirtan Prabhu, you want to read?
Yes, Prabhuji.
God.
Even if in the past he has committed hundreds of sins, if a person wears Gopi Chandana Tilaka, then Yamraja cannot take him away. How then can Yamraja's messengers touch him? A sinner who daily wears Gopi Chandana Tilak goes to Lord Krishna, Supreme Adore, Goloka, which is beyond the world of matter. Sri Garga Samhita 6.15.22-23.
So
Hare Krishna,
this
Prabhuji.
is Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So this is the importance of tilak. Yeah. So as I mentioned, so the Yamaraj also will not touch him. Yeah. And Prabhu, you can continue this also.
Yes, Prabhuji. O Maharaja Ambarish, in order to become free from the greatest of sinful activities, just behold the person who wears tilak with Gopi Chandana. Maharshi Gautama, Padma Purana.
This is being said in Padma Purana. Okay. In order to become free from sinful activities, just behold the person who wears tilak with the Gopi Chanda. I hope most of us know how to wear a tilak, right? Prabhujis and Matajis.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Kirtan Prabhu knows. Others, Lakshmi Prasad Prabhu,
Yeah,
hope you might be knowing, right?
yeah, yes, Prabhu, I know I wear tilak.
Okay, and then probably Kailash Mataji also knows him, right, Mataji? Prasad Prabhu, you know?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, I'm just checking if anyone needs any help. Praveen Prabhu, you know?
Yeah, I know, Prabhuji.
Prabhu, your voice is not coming.
I know, Prabhuji.
Okay, Hare Krishna. So this
Hare
is all Gopi Chandan, right? So if you go to any of the ISKCON center, right? So you can buy in the Gopi Chandan, right? Uh, Preferably you can put some waters of Ganga in your hand and then rub that Gopi Chandan, right? So then a paste comes out, and then use your ring finger to actually apply that paste, right? So we actually do it. So there are different ways. Yeah? Some put like this, and then some put like this, and then you'll have to do that. Once you put the tika, right, you'll have to actually put the tilak a little bit downwards to actually make it as a leaf. Yeah? So that is where we wear tilak, and then while wearing tilak, also we have to actually recite the namas. Okay, so which we'll see in the coming decks. Okay. So Kashyapa Muni advised his wife not to go on to the street unless she was well decorated and well dressed. He did not encourage the mini skirts that have now become fashionable in Oriental civilization. When a man goes out onto the street, she must be fully covered. Okay, sorry. When a woman goes out onto the street, she must be fully covered so that no man will recognize who she is. All these methods are to be accepted for purification. Srimad Bhagavatam 6.18.50 purport. Okay. So this is about the dressing of Mataji's. Yeah. The body should be fully covered. According to Vedic civilization, respectable woman cannot be seen even by the sun. Right? Ashuryam Pashyat. How can you avoid sun? But it is said like that the sun will find difficulty to see one man's woman. Okay. So yes, Ashriyam Pashyat, Ashriyam, Surya, right? Means the sun will also hanker after her. How can I see that woman? Srila Prabhupada wedding ceremony and lecture May 6, 1969, Boston. So this is all about how well the Mataji should actually cover themselves. Okay. Prabhupada, yes, rather these girls, when they dress in Indian way, they look more beautiful. That you have to admit. Yes. Srila Prabhupada room conversation with Christian priest. Okay. Mr. Chanakya, June 10th, 1974, Paris. Hare Krishna. Yeah. Can someone read this, Prabhuji? Praveen Prabhu, you can read this.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Vaishnava dress. So we should be known as shaven headed, not long hair headed. This is a discrepancy. At least once in a month, you must be clearly shaven headed. In the bright fortnight on the day of Purnima, 4 days after Ekadasi, once in a month in the bright fortnight, you must be shaved. Srila Prabhupada, lecture Srimad Bhagavatam 563, Vrindavan, November 25, 1976.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. So this
Hare
is
Krishna.
of how our haircut or it should be, right? So we should not have long hairs. Okay, so that's not allowed. So if we have the hair, it should be short and trim. Yeah, trimmed hair, and then if someone keeps a shika, they can keep it. If not, so they can have the shaven head. Yeah. Yeah. Unless absolutely necessary, one should keep head shaven and not allow the hair to grow long. If absolutely necessary, one can dress like a gentle American gentleman with short hair, but long hair is prohibited. The reason that one with long hair is not my disciple is because he is against
अच्छा
the
टेबल पे रखी हो ना,
principle. Okay, so this
ओड़ा
is
मत
what
बन
is
अच्छी
being
बन
told.
फालतू ती कोणला तुझी बॅग पाहिजे?
Hare Krishna. Unless absolutely necessary, one should keep hair short, and if necessary, one can dress like an American gentleman with short hair. Srila Prabhupada, letter to Drishtaketu, New York, 17 July 1976. Okay. Yeah. Generally, Grihasthas wear white for the men and colorful saris for the women. So, women can wear, Grihastha women can wear, and Grihastha Matajis can wear colorful saris while performing sacrifice, etc. They may wear yellow cloth, which is considered auspicious. In India, our householders, devotee men, are all wearing white cloths and they all look very nice. Yeah. Srila Prabhupada, letter to Upendra, Allahabad, 27 January 1971. This is a role play which we can't. Okay. So before me, so many Swamijis went there. They did not give, but they took something and came here and advertised themselves as foreign returned sannyasis, yeah, and exploited the people. They lost even their original dress. Everyone knows I have never changed my dress. Rather, I have given the dress to the foreigners and they have taken it. Srila Prabhupada lecture, June 14, 1973, Mayapur. Okay. So this is what Prabhupada says in it. So before Prabhupada, right? So there were a lot of sannyasis who went to the West for preaching. Okay. But what happened is they went there and then instead of converting or instead of preaching them, right, what they did is they took up the dressing sense and then the habits of that country, right? So they got habituated to the lifestyle of that particular country and then they lost their purpose. Okay. And then say they got their citizenships and everything there, and then say they were advertising themselves as foreign returned sannyasis. Okay, so but they didn't make any change on the ground, right? They didn't go and then they make any changes, or they didn't preach, or their preaching was not successful. Rather, these sannyasis actually got converted into them. Okay, but what Prabhupada did is Prabhupada never changed his dress. So rather, he made the Americans to wear dhoti and kurta, right? So that is what Prabhupada says in, right? So he never compromised on those things, right? Basic principles were never compromised. Yeah? So I think wearing tilak we will see next class because we have already passed the time and then we'll not be able to cover that. In the next class, we'll cover that. For today, we'll wind up the class here. Any questions related to today's topic, Prabhujis and Matajis, you can ask. And okay, fine.
Prabhuji, the
Somebody has.
tilak has to be of red
Prabhuji, your
vermilion
voice
or
is
of
very low. Not sure if you're even while you're
uh,
reading, right? So that was not that audible.
the the tilak has to be of vermilion color or it has to be of sandalwood, chandan.
Prabhu, you're asking this Gopi Chandan?
I'm Praveen.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I think your
Uh,
question is about the color of
yes, yes,
the
yes,
Chandan, right?
yes, yes.
Yeah, it usually in ISKCON centers, if you go right, it's mostly the Chandan color only, Prabhu. So you can wear it. So that or even few are little bit whiter. So, but that's okay. So both the things are okay.
Okay, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Any other question from anyone? Basically, Gopi Chandan is nothing but a mud only, right? So is being used. Okay. We'll wind up for today's class then. Vancha kalpatarobhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavnebhyo vaishnavya namo namo. Hare Krishna.